There is a beautiful saying, the way you start your morning determines the way your entire day unfolds. Most of us wake up not with peace, but with panic. The alarm rings, and instead of opening our eyes with gratitude, we open them with pressure. The mind starts racing even before the feet touch the floor. What do I have to do today? Who messaged me? What deadlines are pending? Who angered me yesterday? And without even realizing it, we begin our day carrying a mind full of noise. Not the noise outside, but the noise inside. My friends, the world is already loud enough. But the loudest voice is not the traffic outside, not the people around us, not the notifications on our phone. The loudest voice is the voice inside our own head. And unless we learn to quiet that voice, we will keep living our days in reaction instead of intention. This is why the first habit that changed my life in just 1 week was beginning every morning with silence. Not with a phone, not with a to-do list, not with stress, just silence. Now, silence doesn't mean emptiness. Silence doesn't mean nothingness. Silence means presence. Silence is like hitting the reset button of your mind every morning. Just like we charge our phones at night, our mind needs charging too. But the mind doesn't charge with more stimulation, it charges with stillness. The first day I tried this habit, it felt strange. I woke up, resisted the urge to check my phone, sat down on the floor, closed my eyes, and within seconds my mind started wandering like a monkey jumping from tree to tree. I thought about work, people, problems, plans, everything except silence. But I didn't give up. I simply sat there, breathed slowly, reminded myself, just be here. And something magical happened. Not on the first minute, but slowly, very slowly, I felt my breath deepen. I felt the tension in my shoulders soften. I felt the mental fog begin to clear. For the first time in a long time, I was not rushing, not reacting, not running in my head. I was simply being. My friends, silence is not an escape from life. It is preparation for life. It is like standing before a mirror. Not the mirror that shows your face, but the mirror that shows your mind. When you sit in silence, you notice your thoughts. You realize how many unnecessary worries occupy your mind. You understand how much time you spend thinking about things that don't matter. You discover how powerful your inner world is and how neglected it has been. Most people wake up and allow the world to enter their mind immediately. Messages, emails, social media, opinions, judgments, emotions, all come rushing in the moment the phone lights up. But when you begin your day in silence, you enter the world only after entering yourself. You give yourself a chance to listen to what truly matters. Not the noise of the world, but the whisper of your heart. During that week, every morning I sat in silence for just 5 minutes. That's it. Not 30 minutes. Not 1 hour, just 5 minutes. But those 5 minutes created a difference that I could feel all day long. I felt more patient. Problems felt less overwhelming. Small irritations didn't control my emotions. I spoke slower, listened deeper, acted calmer. Because silence gave me something I had lost without even knowing it: inner space. Space to choose my response instead of reacting impulsively. Space to breathe. Space to think clearly. Space to understand myself better. In silence, I also realized that we often live life in a rush, not because life is fast, but because our mind is scattered. Silence gathers the mind. It brings all the scattered pieces back together. It reminds us that peace is not found in a place, it is found in a practice. And no matter how busy life becomes, anyone can take 5 minutes of silence. You don't need a special room, you don't need candles or music or rituals. You just need intention. You can sit on your bed, on the floor, on a chair, anywhere, as long as you sit with awareness. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, feel the air entering and leaving your body. Let your thoughts come and go like passing clouds. Don't fight them, don't chase them, just observe. In those 5 minutes, you slowly travel from the noise of your mind to the peace of your soul. And once you touch that peace, even for a moment, it stays with you for the whole day. 1 week of starting my day with silence taught me this profound truth. If you win your morning, you win your day. And if you win your day, you win your life. Silence doesn't change your circumstances, but it changes you. It makes you stronger, calmer, wiser. It gives you clarity, courage, and compassion. It allows you to walk into the day not as a warrior fighting stress, but as a monk carrying peace. And when you begin your day with peace, everything else begins to fall into place. Gratitude is one of those words we hear often, but rarely practice deeply. We say, "Thank you," but most of the time it's just an automatic response, not a heartfelt realization. But the day I started writing down my gratitude, just a few simple lines every morning, something inside me shifted. It felt as if someone had cleaned the dusty windows of my mind, and suddenly the same world looked brighter, softer, kinder. You see, the mind is a strange thing. It remembers what hurt us more easily than what helped us. It holds on to insults more tightly than compliments. It magnifies what is missing and forgets what is present. And because of this tendency, most of us wake up thinking about problems, pressures, and responsibilities. But gratitude journaling is like gently taking your mind by the hand and saying, "Wait, before you run into stress, just look around you. There are blessings here too." On the first day I tried gratitude journaling, I didn't know what to write. My mind kept saying, "Your life is normal, nothing special happened." But when I forced myself to pause and look deeper, I realized that gratitude isn't about special events. Gratitude is about noticing everyday gifts that we normally overlook. The first thing I wrote was, "I am grateful that I woke up today." Such a simple line, yet for millions of people around the world, waking up is a gift they didn't receive this morning. I didn't appreciate that until I wrote it down. Then I wrote, "I am grateful for my breath." Something so basic, so constant that we forget it even exists, until one day life suddenly reminds us of its value. In that moment, I felt a strange, soft warmth in my heart. I realized gratitude journaling wasn't about writing nice sentences. It was about reconnecting with the reality I had forgotten. Every morning, when you consciously list a few things you're thankful for, something powerful happens. You shift your focus from what your life lacks to what your life already has. From scarcity to abundance. From complaining to appreciating. From stress to peace. And this shift isn't small, it changes your entire emotional landscape. That week, as I continued the practice, I began noticing more and more things to be grateful for. My morning tea tasted better. The sunlight felt more inviting. Conversations felt more meaningful. Even challenges seemed less threatening. Gratitude became like a lens I wore throughout the day, And through that lens, even ordinary moments glowed with beauty. One morning I wrote, I am grateful for the people in my life. As I wrote it, I realized how often we take people for granted. The ones who stand by us silently, the ones who care without asking for credit, the ones who check on us when we're low. We often notice their absence more than their presence. Gratitude journaling taught me to appreciate the love I had always received but rarely acknowledged. Another morning, I wrote, I am grateful for the problems that taught me lessons. And that was a deeper shift, because gratitude is not only for the good things. True gratitude is when you can look at your struggles and say, you shaped me, you made me stronger, wiser, more compassionate. When you can thank life for both the sunshine and the storms, you reach a maturity of the heart that very few people ever discover. The most beautiful part of gratitude journaling is how it rewires your mind. Science says that what we repeatedly focus on becomes our mental habit. If we focus on pain, we become pessimistic. If we focus on stress, we become anxious. But if we focus on gratitude, we train the mind to look for the good, even in difficult situations. Gratitude doesn't remove problems, but it gives you the strength to face them with hope instead of fear. By the fourth day of the week, I noticed something surprising. I wasn't just writing gratitude. I was feeling gratitude. My heart felt lighter. My mind felt calmer. I smiled more. I compared less. I appreciated more. Gratitude shifted my emotional energy from restlessness to contentment. I also realized something profound. Gratitude journaling is not about the notebook. It's about the heart. The notebook is just a tool that helps you slow down and pay attention. When you write, you make your awareness sharp. You anchor yourself in the present moment. You remind yourself that no matter what is going wrong, something is still going right. And each day, that reminder becomes stronger. There were moments that week when I felt stressed, but instead of spiraling into negative thoughts, my mind automatically searched for something to appreciate. Even small things, like a kind smile from a stranger, a good meal, or a peaceful 5 minutes, felt like blessings. My emotional resilience grew. I reacted less, understood more, paused more, and complained less. Gratitude journaling also helped me build a deeper connection with myself. When you write regularly, you learn what truly matters to you. You discover your joys, your values, your priorities. You understand what fills your heart and what drains it. Gratitude becomes a compass that gently guides your inner world. And the most beautiful realization was this: gratitude turns the life you have into the life you love. When you stop chasing happiness and start recognizing it, you understand that joy was always around you. You just weren't paying attention. In just 1 week, this simple habit made my days feel richer, calmer, and more meaningful. And I truly believe that gratitude is not just a practice, it is a lifestyle, a way of seeing the world, a way of honoring the present moment, a way of nurturing a peaceful heart. Because when you learn to count your blessings, life will always feel abundant. There is a saying in ancient wisdom: when you eat with awareness, you feed not just your body but your soul. Yet today, most of us don't eat, we rush. We don't taste, we swallow. We don't savor, we multitask. Food, which is meant to nourish, becomes just another task on our busy checklist. And strangely, even after eating full meals, We still feel tired, stressed, or emotionally hungry. That week, when I decided to change just a few habits, one of the biggest transformations came from something so simple, so ordinary, yet so powerful: eating mindfully. Not changing what I ate, not following a fancy diet, not counting calories, but simply being present with my food. The first morning I tried mindful eating, I sat with my breakfast, and for the first time in years, I actually looked at it. We often forget how food reaches our plate: the farmer who grew it, the soil that nourished it, the sunlight that helped it grow, the hands that prepared it. All of these unseen blessings are forgotten in our hurry. But that day, as I looked at my meal, I felt a sudden wave of appreciation. It wasn't just food, it was a miracle, a chain of countless efforts, all coming together to give me nourishment. When I took the first bite slowly, something unusual happened. I tasted the flavor properly. I felt the texture, the warmth, the aroma. And for the first time, I realized how disconnected I had been from one of the most regular actions of my life: eating. Usually, I eat while scrolling on my phone, reading something, watching something, or talking in a rush. But this time, I kept everything aside, just me and the food, no distractions, no hurry, just presence. And that presence changed everything. As I chewed slowly, I noticed that my mind also began to slow down. Thoughts that were racing just a moment ago started calming down, as if the mind was telling me, "Thank you for letting me breathe." Eating became a meditation, simple, grounding, peaceful. Mindful eating taught me a powerful truth: we don't just eat food, we eat the energy we create while eating. If we eat with stress, we digest stress. If we eat with sadness, we absorb sadness. If we eat with gratitude and awareness, our food becomes sweeter, richer, more nourishing. During the second day of practicing mindful eating, I caught myself almost reaching for my phone. Out of habit, my hand moved automatically. And that's when I realized just how unconscious we become in our routines. Our body moves, but our mind is somewhere else. Our mouth chews, but our awareness is missing. Mindful eating brings our mind and body back together. It reunites us with the present moment. As the week continued, I noticed physical changes too. I felt lighter after eating. My digestion improved. I no longer felt bloated or overly full, because mindful eating naturally slows you down. It helps you chew properly, which sends signals to your brain that you are satisfied. You don't overeat because you're no longer trying to fill emotional gaps. Your awareness fills them for you. But the biggest transformation was emotional. When you eat mindfully, you start respecting your body more. You stop treating it like a machine that can keep going no matter what you put inside it. You begin to appreciate how tirelessly it works for you every second. Mindful eating becomes an act of self-love, a reminder that you deserve care, attention, and nourishment. There was one moment during the week that touched me deeply. I was eating a simple homemade meal, and suddenly I felt a rush of gratitude for my mother, who had cooked thousands of meals for me growing up, without ever asking for thanks, without ever expecting praise. All those meals were acts of love I took for granted. And it was only when I slowed down and truly tasted my food that I began to understand the depth of that love. Mindful eating opens the heart, not just the stomach. Another day, I realized something else: when you eat slowly, you become aware of your emotional patterns. You notice when you eat out of boredom, when you eat out of sadness, when you eat to distract yourself. You begin to understand your relationship with food, and more importantly, your relationship with yourself. This awareness brings healing. It shows you what you truly need. Sometimes what we crave is not food, but rest. Not sugar, but comfort. Not snacks, but emotional clarity. By the end of the week, mindful eating had become more than a habit. It became a moment of daily peace, a sacred pause in my routine, a reminder to slow down in a fast moving world, a reminder to nourish not just the body, but the mind and soul. Eating is something we all do every day, but doing it with awareness transforms it from an automatic ritual into a meaningful experience. Mindful eating teaches patience, appreciation, presence, and gratitude. It teaches us to enjoy the simple things, to honor our food, and to respect ourselves. In those 7 days, I realized that when we slow down while eating, life slows down with us. Stress softens, anxiety reduces. The heart becomes lighter because mindful eating is not just about food, it is about reconnecting with life, one bite at a time. There is a quiet moment every night, a moment after the world slows down, after the noise fades, after the responsibilities of the day loosen their grip. Most of us spend this moment scrolling on our phones, thinking endlessly, or worrying about the next day. But during that transformative week, I decided to do something different. I chose to prepare for the next day before sleeping, not with stress, but with clarity, calmness, and purpose. It is said, a peaceful night builds a powerful morning, and I never understood how true that was until I started planning my next day the night before. The first night I tried this, I sat down with a simple notebook. No fancy planner, no special pen, just a plain sheet of paper where I quietly wrote the date for the next day. And then, something interesting happened. My mind felt as though someone had switched on a soft lamp inside it. I looked at the blank page and took a deep breath, thinking, how do I want tomorrow to feel? Not, what do I have to do? But, how do I want to show up? This single shift changed everything. As I began writing a few small intentions for the next day, I felt a gentle sense of control returning to me. Not control over life, because life cannot be controlled, but control over my own actions, my own energy, my own priorities. The day no longer felt like a storm I had to survive. It felt like a journey I could prepare for. Planning the next day before sleeping does something very powerful. It tells your mind that tomorrow is not something to fear, but something to embrace. That first night, I wrote only 3 things, what I needed to complete, what I wanted to focus on, what I wanted to feel. It took barely 5 minutes, but it gave my mind a sense of direction. It was like telling my brain, don't wander, here is your path. Before this habit, I used to go to bed with a mind full of thoughts, worries about deadlines, conversations, unfinished tasks. Sometimes I couldn't sleep because my mind felt like a marketplace, loud and chaotic. But the night I planned my next day, my mind softened. It didn't need to keep reminding me of tasks because I had already captured them on paper. I slept more peacefully because my brain felt organized, not cluttered. This small habit works like magic because writing things down is like removing weight from your mind. Your brain says, I don't need to remember this anymore. It's safe somewhere. and that safety brings stillness. By the next morning, I felt a new kind of clarity. Instead of waking up wondering, what should I do today? I woke up with a quiet confidence. I know what I'm doing today. That confidence changes your energy. It reduces anxiety. It improves decision making. It helps you focus. When you plan the night before, your morning is not wasted in confusion or procrastination. You begin your day already aligned. During the second night of this habit, something beautiful occurred to me. Planning tomorrow is actually a form of gratitude for today. It's acknowledging that life gave you another chance, another opportunity to grow. And when you plan consciously, you are honoring that opportunity. As the week went on, I noticed that my days felt smoother. Not because problems disappeared, they were still there, but because I was no longer waking up unprepared. Planning the night before gave me a mental shield. Even when unexpected challenges came, I handled them better because I had clarity on what truly mattered. Another profound benefit I discovered was emotional clarity. When you write your intentions for the next day, you become aware of your emotional needs. You realize what drains your energy and what nourishes it. You understand where your time goes. You see which tasks align with your goals and which distractions steal your peace. One night I wrote only one line: tomorrow, I want to speak kindly, even when it's hard. And that single intention changed how I interacted with everyone the next day. Planning tomorrow before sleeping isn't just about productivity. It's about presence. It's about directing your emotions instead of being dragged by them. It also teaches you the art of letting go. Because once you've written what you need to do, your mind doesn't need to keep replaying it. You release the day, you surrender to rest. You stop carrying the weight of tomorrow into your sleep. By the fourth day, I understood something deeper. Life feels overwhelming not because we have too much to do, but because we try to hold everything in our minds. When you plan your next day, you free your mind from that burden. You replace chaos with order, fear with clarity, confusion with purpose. I noticed I started sleeping faster, waking up calmer, and moving through my day more intentionally. My mind didn't feel scattered, my actions felt purposeful, and my energy felt balanced. Over the course of the week, this habit taught me a spiritual lesson. When we plan tomorrow before sleeping, we are not controlling life, we are respecting it. We are respecting our time, our energy, our responsibilities, and our dreams. We are acknowledging that every day is a gift, and gifts should be used wisely. Planning tomorrow before sleeping is not about doing more, it is about living better. It is about making space for peace. It is about ending the day with closure and beginning the next with clarity. And when you do that, each day stops feeling like a battle and starts feeling like a blessing. In today's world, our phones have become like an extra limb. The first thing we touch in the morning is not the ground, not the face of a loved one, not even our own hearts, but the glowing screen of a device that hijacks our attention before our day even begins. And without noticing, we end up giving the most precious thing we have, our focus, to a machine that never sleeps. During that transformative week, I decided to change one small but powerful habit to practice digital discipline. Not to throw away my phone, not to disappear from the world, but simply to reclaim my peace from the endless noise. The first day of this habit was unexpectedly eye opening. My phone buzzed early in the morning, as it always does. Normally, I would grab it instantly, almost automatically. But that day I paused, I let it ring, I let the notifications appear, and I realized how uncomfortable silence becomes when we're used to constant stimulation. A tiny vibration felt like a huge pull. A small red number on my screen suddenly felt important. And that's when the truth hit me. I was not using my phone was using me. Digital discipline is not about rejecting technology, it's about refusing to be controlled by it. It's about living intentionally, not habitually. So that morning, I made a gentle rule for myself: no phone for the first hour after waking up, just 1 hour, not forever, not a strict vow, just a simple boundary for my mental well being. In that hour, I noticed something beautiful. My mind was quieter, my thoughts were clearer. I didn't start my day comparing my life to others, reacting to messages, or rushing into digital chaos. Instead, I started with myself. And that changed the energy of my entire day. Throughout the week, I began observing my digital habits more closely. I noticed how often my fingers unlocked my phone without my mind even realizing it. I noticed how checking one message turned into checking 5 apps. I noticed how a 2-minute distraction became a 20-minute detour. And I realized something very important. It wasn't the amount of time I spent on my phone that caused stress. It was the lack of intention behind it. One evening, I decided to turn off all unnecessary notifications. Not the important ones, just the ones that constantly poked my mind for attention. As I switched them off one by one, I felt a surprising lightness. It was like closing windows that had been letting in noise for years. Silence is not empty, it is full of answers. Digital discipline revealed how deeply we've tied our self-worth to online validation. One like, one comment, one message has the power to lift us or break us, and we don't even realize how much emotional power we have secretly handed over to strangers, algorithms, and apps. But when I reduced my digital consumption, I took that power back. I felt more grounded, more whole, more connected to myself. Another thing I discovered was how often we use screens to escape our own emotions. Sad, scroll. Bored, scroll. Lonely, scroll. Stressed, scroll. But the truth is, scrolling doesn't heal anything. It simply postpones the pain. It distracts the mind without nurturing the heart. Digital discipline helped me sit with my feelings instead of running away from them. One night I tried something new. I kept my phone in another room before sleeping. For the first time in a long time, I lay on my bed without blue light hitting my eyes, without mindless scrolling, without holding on to the world through a device, and the silence felt strange, like meeting myself again after a long time. But slowly that silence became comforting. It became peaceful, it became a doorway to deeper rest. I slept earlier, I slept better, I woke up calmer. Digital discipline taught me that the mind needs space to breathe, to process, to rest. And when we fill every free moment with screens, we suffocate our own inner world. As the week continued, I realized a profound lesson. When you disconnect from your phone, you reconnect with your life. You notice the taste of your tea. You hear the birds outside your window. You feel the breeze on your face. You look into people's eyes instead of looking down at a screen. You become present. Digital discipline also strengthened my relationships. Conversations became deeper because I wasn't half listening while scrolling. Meals became more meaningful. Walks felt more real. I noticed people around me, not their statuses, but their emotions. Technology connects us globally, but sometimes disconnects us personally. Digital discipline restores that balance. By the end of the week, I understood something important: technology is a tool, not a master. It is meant to enhance life, not replace it. It is meant to support peace, not steal it. Practicing digital discipline doesn't mean living without your phone. It simply means living without losing yourself. It means using technology with awareness, not addiction. It means choosing presence over distraction, intention over impulse, and peace over chaos. In just 7 days, this habit gave me mental clarity, emotional stability, and a deeper sense of control over my time. It reminded me that every minute we spend online is a minute of life we will never get back. And life is too precious to be lived on autopilot. Digital discipline returns you to your own self, your thoughts, your dreams, your stillness. It opens the door to a quieter mind, a calmer heart, and a more conscious life. We often believe that change requires something dramatic: big decisions, big sacrifices, big actions. But life has a gentle way of teaching us that greatness is not built through intensity, it is built through consistency. A single powerful burst may inspire us, but only small daily steps can transform us. And this truth became so clear to me during that one week that changed my life. On the very first day of forming new habits, I remember thinking I should do everything perfectly. I should meditate long, write pages of gratitude, finish tasks early, avoid distractions completely. It was the familiar excitement we all feel when starting something new, the enthusiasm that burns bright but fades fast. But something within me whispered, go slowly, go steadily, go sincerely. And for the first time, I listened. Consistency over intensity means doing a little every single day with devotion. A drop of water may seem small, but when it falls continuously, even a stone can be shaped by it. In the same way, our daily actions, however small, shape our destiny. As the week unfolded, I realized how often we chase intensity. We join the gym and push ourselves so hard on the first day that we can't move the next. We decide to meditate and sit for long sessions only to stop after 2 days. We try to change everything at once: our habits and our routines, our lifestyles, and end up changing nothing at all because intensity exhausts us. But consistency strengthens us. One morning, I felt tired. I didn't feel like practicing silence. I didn't feel like journaling. A part of me said, skip it today, it's fine. But another part whispered, just do a little. And that little made all the difference. I didn't meditate for long, just 2 minutes. I didn't write a full page of gratitude, just 3 lines. But those small efforts kept the chain unbroken. They told my mind, I show up even when I don't feel like it. Consistency builds character. Intensity builds ego. The more I practice this habit, the more I realize something profound. Consistency is not about time. It is about commitment. It is not about perfection. It is about presence. The moment you show up for yourself every day, even for a few minutes, you send a powerful message to your mind. I matter, my growth matters, my peace matters. During the week, I reflected on how nature works. A tree does not grow suddenly. Flowers do not bloom in one moment. The sun does not rise instantly. Everything in nature moves with consistency. The most beautiful things in life take shape slowly, calmly, steadily. And yet here we are, demanding instant results and immediate change. I remember a gentle realization that came to me while observing a candle flame. The flame does not burn wildly, it burns steadily, quietly. Light comes not from intensity but from steadiness. That is the power of consistency. Another day, while journaling, I wrote something that has stayed with me ever since. Success is not about doing things once, it's about doing things until they transform you. And habits transform us only when they become a part of who we are, not something we do once in excitement. Consistency also builds trust, trust in ourselves. When you show up for a habit every day, however small, your mind begins to believe in you. And when the mind believes in you, discipline becomes easier, confidence becomes natural, growth becomes inevitable, intensity looks glamorous from the outside, but consistency builds a foundation from the inside. There was one evening during the week when I felt frustrated. I had made mistakes during the day. I didn't follow my plan perfectly. My digital discipline slipped a little. Old habits resurfaced, and I felt disappointed. But then I reminded myself, consistency is not about being perfect. It's about continuing. So that night, instead of feeling guilty, I simply reset my intention for the next day. I didn't try to compensate with extra tasks. I didn't punish myself. I just honored my journey. And that is when I truly understood that consistency is a form of compassion. You allow yourself to grow at your own pace. You allow yourself to be human. You allow yourself to rise again, and again. During the final day of the week, I reflected deeply and realized something beautiful. We underestimate slow progress because we cannot see its impact immediately. But slow progress is like the sunrise. In the beginning, we only see darkness softening, then a faint glow, and slowly, the entire world fills with light. Consistency works the same way. It begins quietly, but transforms everything. Intensity is noise. Consistency is music. Intensity excites the mind. Consistency nourishes the soul. Intensity creates moments. Consistency creates a lifestyle. And in that week, this habit taught me one more priceless lesson. Even when life becomes difficult, even when motivation fades, even when circumstances are tough, we can still show up for ourselves in small ways. And these small acts become the pillars of our growth. By the end of the week, I felt different. Not because I had made massive changes, but because I had made steady ones. And I realized that peace, progress, and transformation are not born from big leaps. They are born from small, daily steps taken with sincerity and heart. Consistency is love in action, love for yourself, love for your growth, love for the person you are becoming.